In response to COVID-19, PSP is offering virtual fitness to Canadian Armed Forces members. By using social media platforms, the virtual fitness classes tailored to Canadian Armed Forces personnel become accessible to all. Participants who are not Canadian Armed Forces members recognize and acknowledge that their age, health status, and physical fitness level are unknown, and it is entirely up to each individual to assess their ability to participate in this class. Since it is preferable to consult your physician before beginning any exercise program, we invite all participants who are not Canadian Armed Forces members to consult the Get Active questionnaire of the Canadian Society of Exercise Physiology and its reference document. If you experience any pain or difficulty during the exercises presented in this video, it is recommended that you stop and consult a healthcare provider. If CAF members sustain an injury during this video, please remember to fill out a CF98.
Welcome to the warm-up. Welcome to the warm-up for Power Hour on Friday afternoon. So the first exercise we're going to do is heel-toe rocks. You're just going to rock from your heels to your toes, and after you've done around 20 reps with both feet, just move to 1 foot forward and do heel-toe rocks on the 1 foot, making it more and more explosive as you go. Then once you've done about 15 to 20 on 1 foot, switch feet and do the other foot. Like I said, as you're going, you want to make it more and more powerful, start becoming more dynamic with the particular warm-up. You're going to go through the whole warm-up sequence twice. So on the first round, take it a bit easy and slowly work yourself into it. So the second exercise is a quad stretch. So you're going to kick your foot back and grab it with the hand on the same side and pull into a slight stretch. And then release and perform that on the other side, going back and forth between your left and right foot about 15 to 20 times. Next, we're going to do walking hamstring sweeps. So you're going to put 1 foot slightly ahead of the other and be back on the heel of the forward foot. Then hinging at the hips, you're going to sweep down and towards the rear, then sweep forwards, and then back towards the rear. Switch legs and do it on the other side. You can do this walking forward if you have space. If not, you can just alternate feet while standing in one spot. This exercise is a lunge with a twist. Lunge forward with either leg and then twist at the waist towards the forward leg. So if you're lunging with your right leg, you're going to twist to the right. Lunging with your left leg, you're going to twist to the left. You can break this down as you slowly warm into it. This next warm-up is called the perfect stretch. You're going to lunge forward with either leg and then place both hands on the floor on the inside of your forward leg. Once you're there, you can pause and try and drop your elbow that's closest to your forward leg towards the floor. Next, you're going to rotate at the hips, twist at the waist towards your forward leg, extending your hand up towards the ceiling. And you can pause there. Bring your hand back down to the floor and push yourself back up, but leave your foot forward. Next, straighten your forward leg, pull your toes up off the ground, and hinge at the waist towards that forward foot. Your own mobility and flexibility is going to determine how far you get here. Next, we're going to do the inchworm. Hinge at the waist and place your hands on the floor. Then walk your hands away from you until you're in a plank position, or further if you can. Once you're in a position as far out as you can reach, slowly walk your feet up towards your hands, maintaining an A-frame position. Once your feet are at your hands, bend at the knees and stand up. Repeat this 7 or 8 times. Following the warm-up, we're going to do some activation exercises. This is going to get us ready for the workout. We're going to go through this activation circuit a couple of times. The first 2 exercises we're going to do 10 to 15 times, and then the drop squat to jump we're going to do 4 or 5 times per round. So the first one is scat push-ups. So you want to have a nice soft round in your back, really be strong through your plank, and all of the movement is just going to come from your scapula. So you're going to drop from the lower back and keep your elbows straight. So your elbows shouldn't be bending through this exercise, and you're going to perform it about 10 times. Next, in the activation exercises, we're going to perform a glute bridge. Tighten your glutes with your knees at 90 degrees and drive your hips up towards the ceiling. Once you're in a flat plank, lower your hips back down to the floor. To make this exercise a little bit more challenging, you can perform a one-legged glute bridge. It's important here to keep your hips square and not have your extended leg lagging behind or reaching towards the ceiling. The last exercise in the activation series is the drop, catch, and jump. As quickly as you can, drop from a standing position into a squat, catch yourself at the bottom for a slight pause, and then jump as high as you can. You're going to perform this 3 or 4 times. Remember that you're going to go through the whole activation series 2 times before you move on into the workout.
Today's workout is 5 rounds consisting of 4 exercises in an every minute on the minute or EMOM format. Throughout the workout, whatever time remains of the respective minute is your rest before the start of the next exercise. The first minute consists of 12 push-ups. Starting at the top, lower yourself in a controlled manner, maintaining a neutral spine and straight legs throughout. Once you are fully in contact with the floor, lift your hands briefly before placing them back to the floor and pressing yourself back to the up position. The second minute consists of 12 back stepping lunges per leg. Step back and down, making a gentle contact to the floor with the rear knee. Stand fully to complete each repetition, making a conscious effort to keep your chest upright throughout the range of motion. The third minute consists of 12 plank walk-ups per arm. Starting on your elbows and toes, shift your weight slightly so that you may place one hand to the floor. Then, with the hand that is down, press to bring yourself up, placing your other hand on the floor so you are now in the up position of the push-up. Then, lower yourself back to your elbows, one arm at a time. The fourth and final minute of each round consists of 6 standing jumps. From standing, lower yourself to a quarter squat, pausing briefly, then jump as high as possible, straight up, landing softly in the middle of your foot with toes angled forward.
All right, demos are finished, and now we're going to jump right into the workout. First minute is 12 hand release push-ups. You can see I'm doing it on a yoga mat there. Just saving my stomach a little bit and my knees as I come down. Good. Focusing on keeping my core braced. You don't want the hips to fall through too high or too low and overextend the spine. Good. Just keeping everything braced, trying to keep in one straight line all the way through, focusing on getting a nice, obvious hand release. And now I'm taking the rest of that minute to rest. So it's a good idea to have a clock out, either on your phone, a watch, iPad, whatever you have, just to count down the rest of that minute to ensure you're getting the appropriate amount of rest. So going on to minute 2 is going into the 24 lunges, reverse lunges, 12 each leg. Good. Stepping back. Again, I'm on that yoga mat, just saving my knees. You can also do it on carpet. That'll help a little bit of padding. It's just if I come down as I get tired, if I come down a little bit too quick, I don't want to bonk my knees right on the ground. So going through, good. I'm looking down at my feet. Really, I should have my head up, but trying to keep that torso as vertical as possible as I'm going through the repetition, stepping back, keeping that front foot flat. There you go. I started picking up my head towards the end. Whatever I was looking at the floor wasn't as interesting towards the end of the set. Good. Stepping back. Good. Changing a little bit the step length in there so you can get a look at what the shorter steps look like versus the longer. And I'll talk about that in consecutive rounds here. So resting for the rest of the minute is going to be real quick, real fast. On to the next one. There you go. Plank walks. Starting in that plank position on my elbows, walking up and down. So a couple different ways you can do this. You can drop the same elbow every single time for half the reps and then switch directions, or you can go one elbow up and then the other elbow. So you can see there, drop down to my right elbow and then up on my left, drop my right again and left, following a little bit of a trend there and going through. So what you want to do is you want to make sure whatever you do that you're balancing the repetitions between each side. So now I'm resting for the rest of that minute, which is really quick. On to those jumps. So for the jumps, you see I'm landing nice and soft and jumping back up. Good. Taking that 1 second pause just in the hole there before I switch directions and explode back up. And now I'm resting. So that's the end of round 1. The rounds are going to go quick. It's going to be 20 minutes. It's going to go by really quick. You only ever have the remaining of the minute. In between rounds, you have a minute rest, but the remainder of the minute between exercises to rest. So in those brief breaks that you do get, that's your chance to get water, make any adjustments you need to do. If you need to get a chair to help with some of the exercises, a body step or dumbbells, kettlebells, a backpack to make things more difficult, that's the time to get it, is right then. All right, so jumping into round 2. So round 2, minute 1. We're going to starting off with those push-ups again. Perfect. So my hands are just slightly wider than my shoulders, just below my armpit. I'm trying to follow through with the military push-up protocol, extending those hands. If you want to make this a little bit easier, you can definitely drop it to your knees and go from your knees for the push-ups, and then eventually work your way back up to being on your toes and the full push-up form, as that's the way you're going to end up doing it for the force test. Good. So going through, raise the hands. Perfect. And then the rest of the minutes to relax and rest, get some water before moving on to the step back lunges. All right, round 2, minute 2. Step back lunges, 12 each side. As you're going through, find what works best for you for step length. I'm going to start off quite short in the steps here, and you can see the joint angle of that front knee as I do the shorter steps. It's quite a closed angle. Stepping back, just gently touching that knee down to the ground. Not going too fast, keeping my core braced the whole time, focusing on my breathing. And you can see now as I lengthen out my stride stepping back, you can see how that joint angle in the front knee isn't so great. So that's a way, if you have knee issues, just don't go down so low, or you can lengthen the steps. Good, keeping the chest up, head up towards the end there. Perfect. This is the longest exercise of the group, so it's the least amount of rest, and unfortunately it's usually the one that causes the most huffing and puffing, the largest metabolic demand. All right, so resting for the rest of that, and then jumping right into the plank walk. So starting on the elbows, up and down, up and down. So a way to make this more difficult is picking up one foot and operating or doing the exercise off of one foot. You can make it easier by dropping down to your knees as well. You can see here as I'm going along, I'm starting to get tired and my hips are starting to rock from one side to another. You want to try to minimize that amount of movement by keeping the core tight. You can spread your feet a little bit, which will help with that rocking as well. So quickly on to the next one. So jump squat, slowing down that quarter squat, and then jumping up as high as I can and landing nice and soft, making sure that my quads and my glutes are taking the strain. I'm not landing with the knees locked out, which is going to cause some issues there. All right, so there's round 2 done. Finish through round 2, resting. Fatigue is starting to build now. Remember, we got 5 rounds, so we're almost halfway done. Getting some water, preparing mentally for that next round. All right, getting ready to go round 3. Setting up for those push-ups. There we go. Start my timer. Right back up there and right into the push-ups. Good. So if you're really proficient at push-ups and these aren't fatiguing your body at all, you can add in a backpack, a ruck. You can stretch a band between your hands and across your back to increase resistance. You can also change hand position. So having your hands wider or narrower will change the feel of the exercise and the intensity at which it hits different muscle groups in your body. You can also elevate your feet, maybe on a chair, a bench, maybe on a backpack. Anything like that will just change the angles, make it a little bit different look for your body. So now resting for the rest of that minute, we did our 12 hand release push-ups, coming up to those 24 reverse lunges. So getting ready to go, standing up, and reverse lunges. All right, so round 3, minute 2. Stepping back. Good. Back and forth. Really focusing on the way down to have most of your weight over that front foot. And when you drive, focus on not pushing from that back foot. I know it's hard, but you want to focus on using that front leg to do the negative portion and the positive portion, the concentric portion of that exercise. Going through and go through and find what distance of steps works well for you based on your own exercise history and mobility. Good. Finishing, resting up, not too long, going real quick on to the next one. So plank walks. So dropping one elbow over the other. One side, keeping that core tight the whole time, making sure you're breathing. Try not to hold your breath even though your core is braced. Make sure you're still breathing. Good, working your way, making sure that it's balanced, that you spend the same number of reps on the way down on one side as you do on the other, just to balance everything out. So as you're going along, you'll notice you start to get fatigued. Totally fine. All right, jump squats. 6 of them just to finish up the round. Landing nice and soft, saving those knees, and then jumping up as high as you can. Perfect. So there's round 3. So round 3 is done. So now's your chance to relax, get some water, breathe. We're almost done. We're over halfway done now. So in that downtime, start to prepare mentally for the next round. 4th round, definitely feeling some tired muscles now, but you want to push through, keep that intensity high, make sure that form stays perfect. All right, round 4. So round 4, minute 1, right into those push-ups again. Start that timer and go. So down, release those hands. Perfect. So push-ups are something that I'm sure everyone is doing at home as a staple of their at-home bodyweight workouts. This is a way you can spice it up just by adding that hand release in there. So what it does is it'll deload the muscle before you're forced to contract again. So it'll be a little bit different look than just doing a normal push-up, because it does release the tension on the pecs right at the bottom as you pick up those hands. So you're not getting a spring out of the muscle. So resting for the rest of that minute. Going on to those step back reverse lunges. 24 reps total, 12 each leg. Just counting them out as you go. There we go, round 4, minute 2. Step back and right back up. Good. Really focus on keeping that weight on that front foot. Good. If you want to extend the range of motion of these, if you do have that level of mobility, you can raise that front foot. If you're doing it near a set of stairs, or maybe you're doing it outside and you have access to a curb on the street. Of course, make sure it's safe before you jump out in the street and start working out. But any kind of an elevation in that front foot will increase the difficulty, increase the range of motion. You can also change it by, instead of alternating between the 2 legs, going right, left, you could do all 12 on one leg and all 12 on the other. And what that'll do is it'll build up fatigue a little bit faster in the individual leg, because you're not giving it the rest of being the non-working leg every other rep. So resting real quick, because then we're on to hand release, the walking planks. So up and down, dropping the elbows, up and down. Perfect. So another way to make this more difficult, if you are finding these quite easy, of course you can increase the reps. But if you don't want to increase the reps, you can have, as you come up, you're stepping up onto a elevated surface. So it could be a bench, a chair. A chair would probably be a little bit high. You want it between 6 and 8 inches just to get that little bit of elevation on there. So we're resting and then right into the squats. Perfect. Jumping squats, landing nice and soft. It's only 6 reps, nice and quick. And through. Good. You can see towards the end as I get tired, my legs get tired, I'm sinking down a little bit lower. Not catching myself quite as high. All right, so we're resting after round 4. 1 more round to go, and then we're on to the cool down. So by now, you're really feeling the fatigue building up in your muscles, upper body, lower body. Some cardio is getting in there because of the fast pace of the workout. So focus on the breathing. Get ready for that next round. Last one, best one. Try to push yourself while maintaining that perfect form. You definitely want perfect form all the way to the end, especially if you're adding resistance. You're using things like dumbbells and kettlebells or any kind of added weight for these exercises, because you don't want to put yourself in a bad position for injury. All right, round 5, final round. So first one, you know the drill, 12 hand release push-ups. Good, really trying to control it on the way down. Nice obvious hand release. Up and down, keeping that core braced. pumping out those reps. We're only doing 12, nice and quick. Remember, you can drop to your knees if you need to as you get tired. Or if it's still too easy, go from that 1 foot, add a backpack, add a band. Challenge yourself, adapt it to your own individual limits and capabilities. All right, resting for the rest of that minute. Going on to the step back lunges now. So remember, last one, so make every rep perfect. If you're using that extra resistance or extra range of motion, still make sure that you're having that perfect form throughout the reps. All right, step back lunges. Good, alternating through. Like I said before, you can do all 12 on one leg, all 12 on the other. Just a different look to the exercise. It's all based off of what you want to do, what you feel comfortable with, and what's going to give you the most benefit in the exercise. Good. Even though I'm doing a poor job of it here, try to keep your chest upright, keeping that upper body vertical and keeping the core braced while still breathing throughout. Good. Alternating legs right to the end, 24 reps in total. And because this one is such high rep, it takes a little while. You get a short rest and then just right into the planks. Good. This is an exercise I always find more difficult than the others. Something I've always struggled with, so I've been spending a lot of time doing it, which is something that you never want to shy away from. Things you aren't very good at. Spend some more time doing them, get better at it, get more proficient at them. It's only going to help you improve. So dropping down one side and then pushing up as well. Shoulders, triceps, your chest, your core, all going to be feeling it on this 5th round of this exercise. There we go. And there's the rest before we jump right into the jumps. So lowering that quarter squat and exploding as high as you can. Landing nice and soft. When you land, you don't want it to make a loud noise. You want to catch yourself nice and gently, nice and quiet. Good. So there we go. There's the workout over. Good job, everyone. Now's your time to rest. Go and do a quick lap of your house to let that heart rate come back down. Just relax. Before we get into that cool down, grab some water. Raina's going to take you through a cool down. Make sure you have your yoga mat available out on the ground or something to protect your knees if you need to get down on the ground to do some of these cool down exercises. Good work today. And now I'm going to pass it off to Raina.
All right, guys, we're just going to move into a cool down now. So the purpose of the cool down is to just bring that heart rate back down and to get a stretch for the muscles that we were working. If you feel like you need a longer stretch than what we're going to be doing, then go ahead and pause the video and take it. We want to try taking at least 30 seconds for each muscle group. And this video will be sped up. So just pause along as you go to get that full 30 seconds per muscle group. So we're just going to start with nice, easy arm swings across the body. Moving our arms nice and relaxed out and in. From here, you're just going to grab hold of one arm, pulling it across to the opposite side of your body, making sure that your shoulder is tucked down into that side just to get a really nice shoulder stretch. So again, 30 seconds, do the other side. From here, we're going to go into overhead swings. So cross your arms over your body, grabbing hold of your elbow, keeping your ribs tucked in to keep your spine neutral. We're just going to go for a tricep and lat stretch by pulling your elbow gently in the opposite direction behind that head. 30 seconds, both sides. Make sure to switch arms. From here, we're going to get a nice hamstring stretch going. So take a wider staggered stance, toes facing out. Fold down like a rag doll, grab hold of your elbows, and just gently rock it side to side. Try to keep your hips as level as possible, but again, we're just really flopping down. Don't worry about a straight spine. Just rock it side to side. Next, we're going to bring it down to the ground in a long lunge. So hands go to the inside of that leg that's in the front. You're going to step back into that lunge. Try to keep your back as straight as possible for this. If you want to deepen the stretch, push your lower back into the thigh. From here, switch legs. Again, 30 seconds both sides. Hands go to the inside of your leg. Back leg goes long. And then if you need a deeper stretch, try your best to keep your back nice and straight, pushing your lower back into the thigh or the ground that's in the front. Moving into a quad stretch, go ahead and lay on your side, grabbing your ankle, keeping your hips stacked. You're going to keep your knees together and pull your leg back while simultaneously pushing your hip forward. So it is static, but you're actually doing an active stretch by pulling your knee back with your hand while also squeezing your glutes to thrust your hip forward to get that quad to feel stretch. So 30 seconds both sides. Next, you're just going to sit on your butt, legs in front of you. Go ahead and take one leg, cross it over the leg that's outstretched. Give it a nice big hug into your body to just get that stretch along your IT band. Open up your leg. Wiggle that back leg in using your hands to stabilize you. It's okay if your back goes a bit rounded. Once you get your leg in position into that figure 4, then you can go ahead and use your arms to push your back as straight as you can. If you're not finding that to be a comfortable stretch for you, wiggle your front leg out a little bit more to get a deeper stretch that way. So from here, you're just going to wiggle your leg side to side. Then you're going to drop your foot onto the ground and go into a twist. And repeat on the other side. So each of these in this sequence, again, hold for 30 seconds. Starting from a seat, everything, try to keep your back nice and straight as you pull in that leg towards your body. It really doesn't matter how nice and pretty the stretch looks, as long as you're feeling it in your hips, your side of your leg, and maybe even your hip flexor for some people who are super, super tight, and glute. So for this twist, when you're doing the twist, make sure that both hips and sit bones are on the ground. So one hip shouldn't be lifted up to the ceiling. Both butt cheeks should be resting on that grass. From here, you're going to take a quadruped position and we're going to go into a thoracic twist. So on hands and knees, you're going to twist one arm up to the ceiling and then thread that arm through. Big breath in at the top as you open your arms up, and then breathe out nice and slowly as you go into that twist. 5 times per side. This one is dynamic, so you're not holding that stretch. Go ahead, 5 on the other sides, opening up to the ceiling, twisting, threading your arm through as you breathe out. Once you've done 5 per side, we're going to take a wide legs child pose. So open up your knees, feet together, sit your butt back onto your feet. You're going to walk your hands out. And that's a child's pose. From here, you're going to walk your hands to the left. Once your hands are to the left, push your rib cage out to the right to get that stretch along your lats and your side body. Hold that for 30 seconds. Walk your hands back to the middle. And then we're going to repeat the same thing on the other side. So walk your hands to the right, and this time your ribs push out to the left. All right, guys, that's all we got for today. So if you have any other questions, concerns in the comments, we'll be down in the comment box